Mr. Mordashov, thank you very much for joining us. I want to talk to you about your U.S. assets, because the last time you and I spoke in Davos over the winter, you had 5 mills, now you have 2. You've sold 3 of them. Are you going to hold on to the remaining 2?
We do believe in both very much. We are accomplishing investment program for 1.3 billion in both. We will finish investments in finishing end in North, in Dearborn.
And these plants, they focus on the car-making industry, supplying GM, Ford, more attractive to you.
Yes, both are aiming high potential U.S. automotive market.
Gotcha.
And other as well.
Gotcha. And you've applied for, back in April, you applied for a $730 million loan from the U.S. government. First, if you get it, you'd be the first non-U.S. government entity to do so.
Yes.
Are you going to get it?
We are going to, yes. To build a new so-called CAL line, a continuous annealing line in Dearborn, next to Detroit, to be able to produce highest quality exposed automotive sheets for a growing demand of U.S. automotive industry.
So the U.S. government has approved that loan. And when are you going to actually get the money?
Well, if it is approved in...
It hasn't been approved yet?
Yes, it hasn't been.
And it has been. Are you confident that you're going to get it? And would it be like 2.5%
So
interest?
far, yes, it's long term, 20 years. And the main purpose of this investment will be to enable U.S. industry to make vehicles lighter, because they need thinner gauge steel to make lighter vehicles,
Sure.
and it's very difficult to produce this quality of steel. We are capable to do it because of all our technologies, but we need this CAL line to be installed in Dearborn to be able to supply it.
Let me ask you about strategy. You just a few minutes ago said that India was the most sort of promising country for Severstal in terms of investment. You just sold off a few businesses in the United States. You're selling some assets in Europe because both have underperformed for you, quite frankly. You made a big bet on the United States, on Europe in about 2007 when the market was really high. Have you been disappointed?
Well,
I mean, it's sort of at this point, everybody says it's all about emerging markets, but is that what you found?
For sure, we got at that time different expectations for U.S. market, probably like many others. But we are still not disappointed completely about U.S. I still do believe in U.S. economy because of the size of the country, size of the population, entrepreneurial spirit, strength of national economy. But we would like to have balanced presence in the United States, and it should be high quality presence.
Gotcha.
We are going to have just 2, but highly qualified assets in north and south, good geographical location, good diversification in technology. It's mini mill in south based on scrap and integrated route based on iron ore on north, and we are going to be balanced, strong player, probably one of the best quality-wise and more valuating product-wise in the United States.
Have you found a buyer for your European assets?
We are in the process of negotiation selections. I have nothing to announce yet.
Nothing to announce on that front yet. Explain to me, not just in terms of the geographic mix of your business, but in terms of what you're actually buying right now. First, before we even go into it, to clarify a couple things for you. Are you buying these uranium assets in Spain?
Basically, we are not active in this project anymore, to be frank.
Disinterested?
We contemplated this option, but basically suspended all activity several months ago.
There were rumors that you were interested in perhaps buying Raspadskaya, the coal assets here in Russia.
We thought about this, making up our mind. I can't give you any information, any certain information, but Raspadskaya has a certain interest and certain risks.
At what price?
The current market cap is close to 6 billion, which is very expensive.
So what do you think would be fair?
Well, I'm not prepared to answer this question for sure because it requires a lot of special considerations. But it's definitely, you know that Raspadskaya has a complicated history. It was...
There's still the fire burning inside of
it's
a big turnoff for a lot of investors.
It's a serious risk proposition. Of course, management is a strong one and competent, and they're certain that they could fight with this problem and cope with this problem and resolve it successfully. But nevertheless, it's a risk.
You've got nickel in the Philippines, iron ore in Brazil, gold in Africa. That is not very traditional steelmaker mix. You know, if you look at POSCO, you look at ArcelorMittal, they're doing they're really sticking to steel.
Yes.
Explain that strategy to me.
Strategy was very simple. Value creation. We created huge value, for example, in gold. just a few people understood us at that time when we started to build our gold portfolio. But now everybody is clear that we created huge value in these gold assets. And yes, it was diversification beyond the traditional scope for steelmakers, but we were driven by value creation wheel for our shareholders.
Diversification.
Big question, if I may. Big question is whether shareholders appreciate it. And it's a big question for us, whether we should continue to exercise diversified mining endeavors within Severstal or just keep Severstal focused on steel and steel-related mining.
And the answer is?
Most probably we have to change our approach in this case, not changing or not abandoning our interest in diversified mining, but probably refocus or reshuffle or restructure our approach.
So would you spin off your gold assets?
Quite probably.
Quite probably.
Not because we still believe, we do believe that gold, and reality proved it very well, that gold is a great asset. The question is whether it's suitable and compatible for our...
Because the profit margin for steel is something like 20 to 30%, and the profit margin for gold is around 50%. Yes. So investors go, well, then what am I buying?
Exactly. Probably our investors would like us to be more focused and to provide them clear, crispy, clear, simpler opportunity.
When do you anticipate spinning off the gold assets?
We, as you know...
These are the same assets that you wanted to list.
Sorry?
These are the same assets, Nord Gold, that you wanted to list.
We wanted to list.
Right.
Yes.
And now you're thinking, now you've decided you're going to spin them off.
Now we are contemplating different options, including and IPO is different in this agenda as well. I'm just saying that we are seriously thinking whether we should keep gold and diversified mining as well within Severstal perimeter, or we should spin it off.
Well, you haven't made a final decision.
Not yet.
Gotcha. And in general,
shall I answer previous question about India, probably?
Yeah, but please, let me ask you this whole idea about diversification before we go to India, you mentioned, yeah? The idea is what? You've been underwhelmed by the growth in the price of steel? I mean, you mentioned gold. Gold's been great. It's keep going up.
Steel is great business. Steel is going up as well.
But so what's the point of diversification?
Value creation... has opportunities for value creation, because what we did in gold, what we would like to repeat in potential other diversified mining cases, cherry picking. We bought cheap assets with strong promise to be restructured, and basically it should be a combination of a good cycle phase, which is more or less applicable for many minerals today, and our capability to organize expertise and restructure them quickly, which we did in gold case.
And it doesn't matter that they're sort of, on two different continents in Russia and Africa?
We believe we have enough expertise and strengths to do it in different cases, in different countries, in different geographies, in different constituencies, which we did in gold as well.
Tell me, just because we were talking about spinning off the gold business as a possibility, that's obviously what Norilsk Nickel did once upon a time for Polyus Gold. What's the lesson for you from what Norilsk Nickel did with Polyus?
Basically, it was a good exercise, made nickel more transparent for shareholders. In both cases, in gold and in nickel.
So, how would
the reaction of shareholders was very positive.
If you do spin off, you're telling me you haven't made a final decision. You said you would almost. What was the words used? I believe you said. Almost certainly, or
we definitely contemplate this option, and we see the strategic value behind this.
And how exactly would you do that? How exactly would you spin it?
It's not decided.
Gotcha. Not decided. You wanted to talk about India.
Yes, just to explain our interest in India, because India turned out mostly resilient and promising steel market recently. In last downturn in the crisis, India didn't went down. Haven't moved down. And India has a large population, relatively young to China, for example, in comparison with China.
Sounds like you had a thesis that the sort of developed markets back in 2007 were the place to go, because you couldn't be certain that, say, the BRIC countries would go through a recession well. And India has proven that thesis wrong, and so you want to reorientate your strategy.
It's true, but it's more short-term consideration. But if you look on the long-term side, we see a lot of advantages for emerging market economies. India has a growing population. They have 1.15 billion now, and in 2030-35 they should exceed Chinese population. They have about less than 60 kilos per capita steel consumption versus world 186, 190 versus and some countries have 200, 400, 600 kilos per capita. Korea has 1,000, but it's extreme. And if you just multiply these figures, India has a great potential. India has relatively small steel industry, just
Right.
16, and it means that India has a great potential for growth, and we would like to be.
And you've announced that you're going to do this $2 billion investment in India this year. Look into your crystal ball. What's next after that?
In India.
In India.
Expansion of this one, we already plan and we are envisaging potential expansion for second phase, which will enlarge this mill up to the 5 million tons production.
Is India sort of the preferred brick country for you?
In line with Russia, yes. Of course, Russia is our home market, and Russia we have great.
But you have a competitive advantage in Russia.
Yes, we have competitive advantage.
If there wasn't a competitive advantage in Russia, it sounds like you'd favor India.
Next priority for us is probably India at the moment. Yeah, not only India. It's very hard to say, dangerous and inappropriate to be too much focused on one country, of course. But among all others, India has very interesting potential in combination of factors. India also has raw materials which enables local producers to be cost effective, which is critically important.
I noticed this. I was wondering if what you're doing in India. You mentioned Raspatskaya and these coal assets. Do you need those assets to develop India?
We have our own coal assets in Russia. We get a license for Tiva coal deposits, several coal deposits in Tiva. We could be okay, and we will be okay without Raspatskaya. Raspatskaya should be considered on a standalone basis. It should justify by itself the acquisition.
Give me your forecast for steel prices by the end of 2011.
If
we're not going to go back to $1,000.
Exactly, yeah. So far we are on upturn trend. We see seasonal potential for seasonal softening. If everything goes like today, probably prices will fluctuate around current level, maybe with some growth, but it's very much dependent upon the world situation in the world economy and growth of world economy. If growth will remain like today, we should expect strong robust steel market. If not, it could be some softening.
Pretty dramatic events in Greece today. Does that matter to the steel market?
Well, I don't know. If it's an indication of non-smooth, dramatic resolution of Greek debt issue, which is not
isolated
clear.
case.
Of course, it could put significant impediments for growth in Europe. Subsequently, probably in some other countries as well. It could affect steel, might have serious implications. If it's just singles isolated event, I hope not much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.